FanDuelers, I'm back for another Saturday video. I said happy Saturday in episode 3, so I guess I'll just switch it up and say good evening. So, hope everybody's alright. Like I said, I had the little gap or whatever, but I had enough time to do enough notes. But this one is definitely going to be different. There's no DFS talk in episode 4. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to episode 4 of Grade A Fantasy. But this is going to be one of those short excerpts I will be doing at least once, maybe twice a week, because I have to do it at the right time, because this is the section of the show or the videos for this channel. We call this, or I'll call this, Grade A Picks, where I will pick 3, sometimes give you a bonus 4 on picks that open my eyes, that I like, that you could use for your parlay. And I also like to get in what round robin is. Hey, there's probably people out there that do these betting and stuff like that know what a round robin is, that don't know. There's probably people that betted on the Super Bowl, waited for football to bet again. Who knows? Or they betted as soon as Super Bowl was done, they had basketball to bet on, and then when basketball was done, haven't done anything. So I'll just get into that. So here's what we'll talk about here in episode 4, Grade A Fantasy, but the first episode of Grade A Picks. You see, I'm a rookie YouTuber. Maybe I should have made this his own separate video, because there's no way in hell this could be episode 4 and episode 1. That don't make no goddamn sense. That's like an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end of one of his horror movies. That don't make no goddamn sense. But anyway, M. Night does make. He has had a couple good ones, but some of the other shit that he done did make you wonder. Okay, so anyway, first off, here's my first pick for FanDuel Sportsbook at the time that I'm recording this. Plus, I will give you the third pick that I'm going to give you. I got to give a little news on that one, because that actually changed, and I'll let you know when it did. So a lot of these picks from the football games, I was checking some of these out when, like, the football schedule. Well, the football schedule dropped a long time ago. But when FanDuel finally put it in, the sports book or whatever, I took a look at them or whatever, and yeah, there was a couple big odds or whatever, some of the overs and the unders, whatever the case is. So I looked at them every couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm not even going to lie, not every few days, like at least every other week or whatever. And a couple of these have stayed the same, maybe jumped up a little bit and down. But there's one interesting spread that I would like to get to, and we'll get to it in a few. So, first pick. Now, like I said, there's a lot of big blowouts or whatever. One of the biggest odds, I think, Indy over Houston for like minus 320 or something like that. And then also the Ravens, I think, over the Jets are minus 290. We'll talk about that later. But first, if you're going to pick some favorites and at least have some decent odds at bringing up your parlay or your round robin, the first one that I like to look at, if you want to try and get it before it jumps over 200, minus 198 Eagles money line over the Lions. Like I said, if you remember episode 1 of Grade A Fantasy, I spoke about T.J. Hawkinson's high value because he could get a lot of garbage time. If you go with a lineup where you can't get Kelsey, or Waller, or I can't believe the tight end from the Ravens. I can't believe his name. His name is slipping me right now. But if you somehow can't afford that, Hawkinson, I think, is in the 5K range. And I said he was going to get a lot of receptions in garbage time. I understand the Lions. A lot of people are hyped by the Lions, Hard Knocks hype and all that other stuff. But the Lions are still the Lions. They're not just going to jump up and just become these world beaters. They should make it an interesting game compared to the way Eagles ran it down their throats last year. But I still like Eagles money line. Plus, it's one of the few, feel safe faves under 200. So I think you're still getting a good value with that. So minus 198 on the Eagles right now, FanDuel Sportsbook. Today I think is the 28th. Yeah, today's August 28th. So just letting you know, this is a back-to-back episode, but this is all sportsbook talk. As of August 28th, pretty much after 7 p.m., that's at minus 198. I think you should try and get that before it starts getting to like 215, maybe even 220 by September 11th. I'm surprised that this matchup is not even bigger. Like I said, I think the Saints are playing the worst team in the NFL, which is the Falcons, if you remember me saying that on episode 1. I think I've mentioned that both for episode 1 and 2 on Grade A Fantasy. Saints money line minus 215. I will grab that before that explodes. Here's an interesting thing. I like the pick, but I'm actually going to contradict myself because we're going to go back down memory lane on this pick. So, Ravens are at 290. minus 290. We're not going to take 290. Can you do the 290? Fine. It just adds to your parlay. You're going to have to do a little more to get more in your return. But I think you're safe at taking the spread for Ravens given 6.5. So pretty much they got to win by a touchdown and that extra point. Here's the thing. I felt a little bit better when they just had to win by the touchdown. Guess what? When I was going to work this morning, I had to be in work by 8. Around 7 something, I started looking at it, doing my own personal, research. So as I'm doing my research, I noticed that the odds go from 5.5 and it goes to, I think when I went out, it goes from 5.5 to 6.5. So it actually jumped this morning. I don't know when it did it. In between, I didn't see it do it, but when I reloaded, I must have went out the app and went in the app. But when I reloaded, it actually went up to about, 6.5. So it went from 5.5 to 6.5. Does it trend on jumping up to maybe 7.5? I don't know. But instead of getting the 290, I would take the Ravens minus 114. Better value. Now, here's the thing about this. If you just saw episode 3, I just told you that besides Lamar Jackson and their tight end, that wide receiver called suspect. They just picked up Demarcus Robinson, who got waived by the Raiders. They got Elvis Duvernay, and I forgot who else it was that's there. Like I said, they lost Hollywood Brown, so that wide receiver core wasn't that deep in the first place. Then number 2, they right now neither their top 2 running backs look like they're gonna start. Do you know what this game reminds me of? Here's the thing, and this is why you probably might want to go round robin if you do take this. You might want to make some money and take Jets money line. Why? Because this Jet game right here for the opening of the season, with the injuries that the Ravens are dealing with, this should remind you last year when the Jets did upset the Titans. But remember, Titans had a whole bunch of injuries. They had no wide receivers. None. Even their tight end, I think, was hurt. And they literally had Tannehill throwing to nobody and giving it to King George. And the Jets just played their best ball, and it still took them overtime to beat a depleted Oilers team, but they were still able to get the job done. This has that feel. This does have that feel like that can't happen. That's why, with less weapons and Lamar having to do it by himself, Andrews, tight end's name is Andrews. Why I just remember that now, I don't know. But Andrews, he literally has only Andrews to throw to. This has that remnants of this. Now, it sounds contradictory, but do I still like the 6.5? Yes. But if that spread grows up to 7 to 8.5, I don't like that spread. I felt really nice about it at 5.5 this morning. And then on my way to work, which is like 35, 40 minutes, it went up to 6.5. So now it's getting to that borderline where I wouldn't take it any higher. This opening game, with all the injuries that the Ravens have, don't be surprised if this somehow plays out how the Jets when they beat the Titans last year. It's like, they still had King George, but it took them overtime to beat them. They still got Lamar still got his favorite target, the tight end. But this is kind of the game that Robert Saleh will get his team up to play for. So if you want to, hedge your bets or whatever with a underdog right there, I'm giving you both reasons why to, take the game. Ravens, now, obviously with the depleted offense, you're hoping that the Ravens get a couple of turnovers, fumbles, and, give Lamar a short field. That's where it's really coming from. Because I don't think the offensive outburst is going to come. It's not going to be a 42-something outburst. They can still win 6.5. You're just hoping that the defense can hold them down. And maybe, they play they get a couple of big plays. And, you're hoping like Ravens beat them up ugly because they can get a few long field goals from Justin Tucker off turnovers and just good defensive field position. So, sounds weird that I actually picked that, but I'm giving you reasons not to pick it. But just be careful. I think it's a good pick either way. Ravens minus 6.5, or you could go Jets money line. Remember, it kind of plays out like last year's Jets-Titans game. Just remember that. My favorite, now that's 3 picks, but here's the bonus 4th pick, and here's the reason why I think y'all should take it. My favorite dog, Jacksonville Jaguars plus 142 on the road. I don't think these odds go smaller. I still think the sportsbook feel that these are still 2 bad teams, and this is one bad team that's just on the road. The fact that they're on the road, I think it stays at 142. I don't think it goes plus. I don't think it gets down to like one plus 125, plus 110, or anything like that. If it does move, maybe 130. But I really do feel that. I really honestly do feel that this is the pick to take. No Chase Young on the pup list. Still a strong defensive front, like I said in my episode before. But with this improving offense and the new weapons, and that backfield, that defensive backfield is still suspect. And I still feel I don't give that young defense talent enough props enough. Like I said, ever since that upset win against Buffalo, that defense has improved. They're ready to go. They're ready to go. They drafted well, better for the offensive line. The linebackers are fast. Their secondary is physical and fast. And like I said, they use free agency to give Trevor Lawrence more weapons. The Jacksonville Jaguars are my top underdog pick. They're my top dog, I guess you could say. That's how I say it. They're my top dog for week 1. Plus 142 right now. So, to wrap this up, I'm going to finish off by saying pretty much how I like to bet. We all done the parlays. You've heard the stories from other YouTubers, from your friends. How you had this 6-leg, 7-leg, 13-leg, and you missed it by 1. Let me tell you guys something. Every now and then I'll do a parlay, but friends who know me or whatever, and some of the people that, really know about me DFS-wise and everything, know that I'm a round-robin player. To me, the round-robin is like betting insurance. You pick your certain amount of games. It's not like your typical parlay. So you pick like 4 or 5 games. It's football coming up. So let's say you just mess around with the 1 o'clock slate, and you pick 4 or 5 games or whatever. You pick a bunch of favorites. Those favorites are most likely going to win. Let's say you get a big bet on Indianapolis, and you got the Eagles, you got the Saints, and whatever other big blowout game that there possibly is. So on top of that, let's say you do pick this Jacksonville dog. There's a chance that the Jacksonville Jaguars lose. With the round robin, it takes a combination of those parlays. Each combination of how many different combination of parlays you can, depending on the game that you picked. So even if you lose that one, whatever combination has the Jaguars winning of your combination of parlays, those will be eliminated, but you can still get your money back. You still get some type of profit back. There's been times where I missed 1, sometimes 2, and what you're hoping is just to miss 1. You miss 2, most of the time, like if I put in, let's say, like $75, I will probably get like $125 back. But my maximum payout, when I had everything pretty much good to go, you're looking at maybe anywhere from $500 to $700. But it just goes down because of all the combination of parlays. For each team that you pick, those combinations that the team is in, those all go away. So that's why the money goes down. So yeah, if you guys are gonna do some betting or whatever, look, I understand the parlay, whatever, but just do the round robin. If you hit big. I've yet to hit all on a round robin, but I've had my times where I've missed 1, missed 2. Like I said, you come back with something. And there's been times where like I've done more difficult round robins because there's 2 pick parlays and there's 3 set parlays and 4 and 5 and 6. Those are just harder because you need more combinations to give you better money. The higher the risk, the more the payout. Like 2 in the 2 pick parlay will not pay as much as 2 in the 3 pick parlay, so on and so forth. But if you're gonna pick some dogs where you think like, okay, I think these dogs are gonna win, and of course they're the underdog, they're gonna up your return with their plus odds, then yeah, that dog could shit your parlay. But all they do is lower your intake on cash if you round robin these guys. So guys, if anything, I'll probably explain this a little bit more better in my next video, and I'll continue from there. I just wanted to get out 2 good 15 to 20 minute videos today. So one was on DFS news. Today is my first one on betting. I think I'm gonna do this separately. It'll be better to say like this is the second episode of grade A picks and keep grade A fantasy separate. I guess I'll do it that way. But yeah. So to review, Eagles money line minus 198, Saints money line minus 215, Ravens they're minus 290 on the money line. That's a lot. So I'd rather take the minus 6.5 at 114. But I told you the reason why, if that spread goes higher, why I wouldn't take it. Why I would not take it. Favorite dog, Jaguars 142. Once again, like I said, Redskins lost their top top guy in their front seven, and that back four is still suspect. Jaguars have new weapons that can expose that back four, and then the two running backs coming back. Well, if they both come back, NTN and James Robinson, but NTN's ready to go, catch screen passes and a handoff from his boy. That's pretty much it. So yeah, 2 quick videos. I think one was maybe almost 20 minutes. If I'm looking at my timer right, this is just about 15 minutes. Hope you enjoyed both videos. I will definitely do this throughout the season, but I will do this just to make it as closely accurate as possible. Grade A picks will from now on be towards the weekend coming up to the next week. Makes no sense to do it in the beginning of the week when odds and all types of news can change and people who are questionable then get ruled out later. I rather get it closer to the point where at least I know certain people won't play that will affect the odds or whatever. So there'll be more like a Thursday, Friday, maybe even a Saturday video. And as for grade A fantasy would just be, every few days. I really don't have a set schedule for it. I think as the season comes on, I'll probably have a set schedule and working around my work schedule and things like that. But as of right now, you'll still see me every couple of days and just get things out. But yeah, so no, this is not episode 4. Grade A fantasy is all DFS. So this is episode 1 of Grade A picks. That's exactly how I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Okay? But yeah, pretty much hope everybody loved the video. Once again, show your love and send comments, subscribe, hit that notification button, like, subscribe. It will be gladly appreciated. Hope you like the info. I'm not just gonna just shout out picks. I'm gonna give you a reason why. And shit, I feel weird giving that Ravens pick. I actually contradict myself on why not to do it. But it is real. Like, that Ravens pick is really, you're hoping Lamar could carry the team for one game. It's the Jets. And you're hoping that the defense, turns over Joe Flacco. That's what you're really hoping for. Because right now, that offense is depleted. That team doesn't look like it's going to get any healthier until maybe October. Because like I said, Gus Edwards gone. Dobbins is not really doing much right now. So Lamar needs all the help he can get. Giving it to Andrews can work, but it's not going to work forever. But against the Jets for 1 week, yeah, it can. So those are my 4 picks. Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, people. Thanks once again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Next video will be in a few days. I did 2 back-to-back. That's some hard work today.